All right, so today I want to share with you another piece of advice that keeps getting bandied about in like the corporate leadership space, which is another example of how the corporate leadership training is too generic for business owners. It just misses the mark. And this is the idea that values are not words on a wall. And that's bullshit. Values absolutely should be words on a wall. In a small business, you have to have your values on the wall. And now, before you stop me, like, I haven't got values. I'm going to help you figure out how to do this, right? Because why are values so important? Values underpin everything in your business. Values underpin the culture in your business, how people turn up. They underpin the performance of the business and how your people treat customers and employees and the quality of work they produce. Your values underpin how you make decisions in your business. And they are the way that your team can make decisions without you having to step in and make decisions for them because they know what you expect and your values. You will not be able to grow your business if you haven't got values in place. It's as simple as that. You'll just have a job because you'll have to keep doing everything yourself. So values are super important. And yes, they 100% need to be on the wall. Otherwise, how else does your team know what they are, right? They need that reminder. I have values. I have them. I've blue tack, right? I took it off the wall just a minute ago. They could be they could be printed on a big fancy etched in a sign. They could be a big painted mural, or they could just be printed out on an A4 bit of paper and stuck on the wall, right? This is my home office. Um, they are there to remind you, to remind everyone how you roll here, how you do work, what's expected, what kind of quality you want to uphold for your clients. That is how values are so important. So where the corporate leadership training does get it right, what they really mean, what they mean here is that values should not just be words on a wall. And that's true. So you can't stop there. So values have to go on the wall, but they don't stop there. And here's how you do values. Here's what you do with them. So for a start, they're not just words, right? They're not just a title. Mine, service, humility, collaboration. They're not just a title. They're actually behaviors. So on mine, I've written like what that means. But what you really need to do with your values is understand and put some examples down of what that means in practice, how to bring it to life, to give the examples to your people so they know what that looks like. For example, one of mine being humility. So I wrote down here, we approach our work with curiosity and a willingness to be wrong. So that's what humility means. And an example of that would be um, let's say, so if I'm in a conversation with a client and I would say things like, I'm happy to be wrong here. Like, I'm not sure if I'm on the right track, but what do you think about this? It's knowing that it's having that belief that it's okay to be wrong. It's exploring when we are wrong, when we do make a mistake, it's thinking about what can I learn from this? What happened here rather than just defensiveness or I didn't do it or or just blame, right? So it's that openness and willingness to explore. It's also another example of that would be exploring what am I missing? What don't I know? What haven't I learned here? It's actually asking those things and demonstrating that you're searching for more information. So that's to me what humility means. And that's how my coaches would demonstrate that in behavior. And so for you in your business, whatever your values are, it's not just a word, it's what are the behaviors? What does that actually look like in action? And once you've got that mapped out, you can use your values to stabilize your business, to infuse the culture of your business. This is how it underpins. It's not just a word, it's the behavior, and that's how you help your business. So you use values in, and you should be using values in everything to do with your business, for your whole employee life cycle. So way back to the beginning, when you recruit someone, you put your values in the ad. This is how we roll here. This is the kind of person we're looking for. The values go in the ad. When you've got the interview, you're asking them questions to demonstrate, to elicit their values. You might, questions like, tell me about a time you had a conflict with a coworker. How did you approach it? So you're hearing how they deal with conflict and what their values are. Mine being like humility, I might say something like, tell me about a time you were wrong. If they come back and be like, oh, I'm never wrong, I don't get things wrong, I'm like, not my person, right? So you can use that to make decisions about bringing the right sort of people into your team in the first place. So you've got the culture that you want. When you do hire someone and onboard them, you then show them the values. You print it out. You say, this is how we do things. What does this mean to you? Tell me about service. How would you demonstrate that? And you're getting their buy-in and setting your expectations from the get-go about how you do things around here. That's your culture. And that leads into how they deal with employees, how they deal with other team members, how they deal with your clients, your customers, the kind of work they produce. Um, and then you could use it in performance management, performance reviews as well. At performance time, you could say, value of collaboration. Tell me how you demonstrated that over the past couple of months. If they're not doing something, you could say, hey, I noticed you did that project and you just ran with it. You did a really good job, by the way, but I noticed I'm not sure I saw any, could be wrong here, humility, not sure I saw any collaboration. Can you help me understand where you collaborated? Oh, I don't know if I did. I just kind of did my own thing. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for admitting that. Love your demonstration of humility. How do you think you might be able to bring in collaboration next time? And that's the performance conversation, by the way. It's not like you did this wrong, get better. It's helping people to understand, live, remember, use the values. And then if you do need to move someone on and get rid of someone, you're not doing service. You're not doing collaboration. You're not humble about when you're wrong. We've tried to teach you these things. You're not demonstrating. Can you see how maybe you might not be a fit here? Maybe let's try and find you somewhere else. Right? Performance review. So the whole employee life cycle. I get really passionate about this. I'm like running out of breath because I'm so excited about how I talk about this. So I've said all that already. So basically do this, right? Figure out what your values are. I've got another video about how to do that. Super simple. I can help you if you want me to come in and work with you in your business and or have a conversation on the phone, because we're virtual as well. How to figure out what your values are, what they are for you, how to lay them out, how to set them down to use, for your people, how to use them. I can do that and help you. But you don't need me. You can go and do this. Figure out your values, make sure there's behavior for them so that people understand how to actually do them, and then put them on the wall, print them out, use them, apply them, live them, hold people to account. That is how you do it, right? It's values. So if this is helpful, share this video with someone else who needs values in their business. If you in their shop and you don't see their values up on the wall, give them this video and hit the subscribe button because then you will get more tips on how to lead in a small business.